Hello, today is Project 6, Light Theremin on TinkerCAD, but you can also follow along with a real Arduino. And I'll tell you right now, this is probably my favorite one to do with the real Arduino, just because of the sounds that it makes. If you don't know what a theremin is, check it out on YouTube. Maybe I'll put a link or something. I don't know if I'll have time right now to add it, but look up a theremin, and this one's a light theremin, and it works really well. So to get here, you log into TinkerCAD. You can log in how your teacher asks you to, or log in signing in with Google, or set up your own account. Then you click on Learn. You switch this over to Circuits. I believe it's Projects. Yep, Projects, and then Show All Arduino. Now I made videos on all of these, the first row, and now I'm starting on the second row, Light Theremin. Maybe by the time you watch this, I'll have more done. And you'll be right here. So as always, I'm not going to waste your time with me reading through all this stuff. I will read that description, actually. So it says, it's time to make some noise. In this project, you will make a theremin, an instrument controlled by hand motion sensing using a photoresistor and a piezo sound buzzer. You will be introduced to a new function that controls the tone or pitch of the buzzer. So let me hit start. And I'm going to try to get this done in one take. I sure hope I can. So we use these arrows up here. This is the Arduino. This is called a breadboard, and we can connect things from the pins to the breadboard to make it work with different stuff. So read through this, okay? You'll learn all about it. This one shows us how we should set it up. Can you match each component on the list to its location on the breadboard? So it says we need a piezo buzzer right there. Photoresistor, which is right here, and a 10 kilo ohm resistor, which is right here. I don't know why that's circled there. It's right here. And the colors would tell us how many kilo ohms. And if you're wondering if you have a resistor and you don't know what, you can just look up resistor color chart online and enter those colors and it'll tell you. Now, I don't think they want us to set it up yet, so I'm going to move forward. And then it talks about the tone function, which we will get to when we get to programming. So feel free to read through that if you want. I'm just going to move forward, okay? So we're going to set up the circuit, which it's nice and easy and quick. If you're doing this in real life, obviously you're doing it in real life. With the actual Arduino, this isn't a really hard one to set up. So as always, we'll hook up our positive and negative to the positive and negative rails. It does want 5 volts, just like all the other ones that we've so far worked on. So we're going to click on 5 volts, which is our positive. We bring it to our positive rail. You'll see it highlights this row. That means all of this is positive now. We want to turn it red to keep it nice and organized. And then ground to the negative rail. And ground is always going to be black. If I could find that while I'm talking, that would be great. All right, then we move forward. So now there's power here. Let's go to the next step. Then we want to hook up our piezo. This speaker is going to sound like an old cell phone. If you're old enough to remember Nokia, really old cell phones, it's going to sound just like it, even the old Motorola's and stuff. It's sort of nostalgic. So they have it hooked up to 3 and 8. We'll see if it works. We could probably search piezo. There we go. And I think it was 3 and 8. I talked too much. Then we've got positive. So 8 runs to pin 8. And then we ground 3. So we go to pin. Let me double check that. Okay, 8 to 8. Nice and easy. So 8 to 8. And I'll get to what this is going to be. This will probably be an out because this is going to be a ground. And what that means is electricity is going to come out here, run through the piezo speaker, make some sound, run through here to the ground. All right, let's move forward. And the last thing we need to connect is our photoresistor, light sensor. You'll even see the shape on your night lights in your house. And then there's a resistor to keep it nice and safe. So we're going to run to the analog pin, but let's get the photoresistor first. So we can just type photo probably. Might imagine. Yep, photoresistor shows up. And I'm going to pretend it was right there. Is that correct? 1 over. Great. Now, it doesn't really matter where you set it up. I just want to match it for you guys. So what's happening is analog, and maybe we'll go in this direction. There's electricity coming out and going through the one side. So we've got electricity coming out from the positive and going into the one side of our photoresistor. Okay, so the electricity is running in here, but it has nowhere to go, so it's not actually going to run there. Not yet. Then we're going to have this run from the other side to analog 0. So we run the analog 0, and I'll talk about that in a second. And then we're adding a resistor. Okay, and remember, when we're looking at the resistor, we want to match the colors. So if you're doing this in real life, you want to make sure, if you're doing this with the real thing, you don't want to burn out your stuff, right? You don't want to wreck your photoresistor or that's the only thing that would be ruined there. You'll notice the colors are wrong because what we need is, if we look here, a 10 kilo ohm resistor. So we go here, we make sure it's on kilo ohms, and we say 10, and then we check our colors. So are the colors correct? It goes brown, black, orange, something. Brown, black, orange, something. Maybe that's gold. I don't know. All right, so that looks good to me. I do notice that, they ran this one down one, but that doesn't matter. These are all connected, okay? So what's happening is power, there's a constant power source running through this photoresistor. It changes its resistance depending on how much light there is. So depending on how much light, it will send a different amount of electricity to this analog in, right? And these receive between 0 and 1024, maybe it was. Maybe I'll get that number right one of these days. And then this one is going to put electricity out through the speaker. So let's move on to the programming. Now, as always, I'm not a huge fan of the way that they show the programming in their editor. The reason why is they don't include any of the notes to describe it. So you can walk through this all you want, but I'm gonna go to Arduino editor as before. You go to create.arduino.cc, go to examples, scroll down to starter kit, basic kit. You will have to log in, by the way, and then light Theremin. It's free, but you have to log in. Now I'm going to highlight all this. I'm going to copy it. If you're wondering how I did that quickly, Control A to highlight it all, Control C to copy it. And then I'll come in here and I'm going to get rid of all this stuff and then Control V to get it in there. Scott Fitzgerald, you're awesome. Same guy every time. Maybe I'll put a picture of him up sometime, figure out who he is. This tells you all the notes. Anything between these is going to be notes, or anything after this on a line is going to be a note. So the first thing that we're doing is we are starting an integer called sensor value. We don't actually give it a value. So I've been asked that. We don't have to give it a value. Then they're saying another integer called sensor low is going to equal 1023. So we're calibrating the low value. Maybe we'll get to that in a little bit. And then variable to calibrate high value, we want something called sensor high. We'll see how that's applied later, I sure hope. Then we're saying, hey, we have an integer. It's on pin number 13, which is weird because I don't think that's correct. Actually, maybe it is. So this is the LED. All right. Well, we do have an LED, which I think would be right here on the board, always connected to 13. I have a feeling maybe we're going to have to change this to 8, but we'll see what happens. They are saying LED pin is 13, and I don't know why we need an LED for this, but we'll see. So then it says, okay, pin mode, LED pin, which is 13, is an output, and we want to write to that LED pin high. So we're saying pin number 13 should be on. That's what that means. We're saying pin number 13 should be on. We're sending electricity out pin 13. Nothing's hooked up to 13, but there is an LED on the board that's always connected to 13. I'm not totally sure why we want that. So maybe we'll see in a little bit. Then, remember, this runs one time. Calibrate for the first 5 seconds after the program runs. So what they want is, so wait less than 5,000 milliseconds. Okay, while it's been less than 5,000 milliseconds, which is right 5 seconds, record the maximum sensor value. So it's going to be reading A0. Interesting. So it's going to be reading A0, right? And it's going to be reading to see the most amount of light and the least amount of light. So this is going to calibrate it to your just normal amount of light. Okay, so say I'm in a room right now, it's sort of dark, right? I want it to know how bright my room is right now because I don't want it playing some high-pitched noise just because it's a normal room. I want it to make hardly any noise right now, okay? And maybe once you see it running, that'll make more sense. But it's going to read the high and the low value and set those, okay? Then, yeah, so it's saying make sensor value equal to whatever reading it's getting in A0 if the sensor value is more than the sensor high. And we said sensor high is 0. So as long as the value coming in here is more than 0, because 0 would be no electricity, meaning this is, I don't know, maybe receiving no light. I'm guessing as you add light, it becomes less resistant. More electricity will come through. Might be the opposite. I haven't tested that. Maybe you can test it. Maybe you can put it in the comments. Then it's saying if the sensor value, what it's reading, is more than the sensor high, which is 0, then save it. Save sensor high as the sensor value. Okay. Then it does the same thing if the sensor value is less than the sensor low. So if it's less than 1023, set sensor low equal to the sensor value. So in this case, what you're going to end up having is sensor high and sensor low are probably going to be about equal as long as the light hasn't changed. Okay, that's sort of just calibrating that light. Now, maybe there will be a variation and we could add some more programming in there if you want. But I'm not going to go over that right now. Then it's turning off the LED. So I'm guessing what it wanted was maybe make some light out of this LED to calibrate this. I don't think that LED is bright enough, but I don't know. Maybe they want... I'm not sure why they're doing that. I wouldn't have done the LED, but that's okay. And then it turns it off. Okay. Then all it's doing is a loop. It's saying read the input from analog 0 and store it as a variable. So the same thing. Sensor value equals whatever this value is. And then take pitch. We're calling something pitch. Remember, we didn't make it before. We're declaring a new integer called pitch, and we are going to make it equal to this map. So sensor value, sensor low, sensor high, 50 to 4,000. Now, let me pull this up for you. The best way when you run across something that you're not totally sure why it's written out, and I did this in my last video, if we go to Arduino map, this is the same one that I went over last time. It talks about how it's mapping certain things. So the syntax is this. These are the directions on how to do it. Map some sort of value from low to high. From low and from high to low to high. So what that means is, remember, on here, we are getting some sort of value that is going to be between 0 and 1023 coming into analog 0. So when we set these sensor high and sensor lows, they are going to be between 0 and 1023. That's all it can do. That's the values it's running. They want to make it a little bit larger range. So what they're saying is we have this integer called sensor value. Take the value from sensor low and the value from sensor high, and instead of having it equal to whatever it found up here or whatever it's reading here, make it between 50 and 1,000. What it's doing is it's finding an equivalent. And maybe I'll make a separate video on that, but basically it's taking this range of 0 to 1023 and making it an equivalent range of 50 to 4,000. And it's probably to get a little bit more variability in the sounds. Or it's maybe because of post-width modulation. This can't send out an analog signal. It fakes it by sending little pulses, and maybe we need that variation. That one I'm not totally sure. Then it says play the tone for 20 milliseconds on pin 8. So it's going to say tone, pin 8 right here, pitch, which we call pitch, right? And then it says 20. Now, this is the length. And if we look up on here, I'll do this again, tone Arduino, and you can see the syntax. So if we look at the syntax, That'll make more sense. And I think it introduced it before. It's saying tone, which pin is it, what frequency should it play, and what duration, how long. And it's always in milliseconds, okay? So in this case, it's saying pin 8, play the pitch, and the pitch is whatever value is now between 50 and 4,000 that was now converted from that analog read, and play that for 20 milliseconds. Delay 10 milliseconds, and then do it all over again. So that means, ignoring how long this would take to run, maybe that's a millisecond, this is 20 milliseconds plus 10. So every 30 milliseconds plus however long it takes, so maybe every 31 milliseconds, it's going to change its pitch, depending on how much light there is. So when you run it, now I'm not sure if no, there should be no serial monitor. We didn't add that in there. I'm not sure if there's going to be actual noise. Doesn't look like it. What we're going to be able to do is change the amount of light, and the tone should change. Now I'm not hearing anything. Maybe you will hear something. I sure hope you hear something. Oh. I'm going to stop that so my wife doesn't get mad at me. That's really annoying. Hopefully you heard that. Maybe turn down your speakers. I don't know why there was a delay on that. Actually, I do. I guess I didn't think about it. It said 5 seconds. It was going to read some sort of, the baseline. So let's try that again. This time I'm going to turn it down. And we'll wait 5 seconds. So let's start it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. The LED's on. It'll turn off. When it turns off, that's its 5 seconds, which that's longer than 5 seconds. And then the noise will start. So I'm not sure why I guess it's running the simulator time a little less than real time. But when it hits 5 seconds, we'll see it turn off. So right there. And now it's making noise. Now, why it had that, I'm not sure. But here you go. Now, that's really obnoxious on here. But in real life, what's cool is you can, I use the light from my cell phone. So I'll have my cell phone lighting it up, and I'll move the cell phone closer or farther away, and it makes a really, really cool noise. You can go, lift it up and down, and it sounds a lot less choppy than what was happening in this. I don't know why it's sounding so choppy on this. It's probably just how it's set up. But when you're running the real Arduino, it runs really, really well. So I hope that worked out well. I know this is a little bit complicated, but I hope you're understanding that it's just changing to equivalent fractions, right? So if I've got 1/4, right? Maybe I want to get a little more precise. I mean, 1/4 is exact, but I don't know, maybe 4/16, right? Maybe that would give you a better idea. But what it's doing is it's giving us more wide range of numbers, apparently, even though I won't get into it, but it's giving equivalence, so then we can have a little bit more variation in our tone. Okay? I hope that helps. I hope I didn't ramble too much, and I hope that was worth your time. Subscribe, because I love hearing back from you and seeing what people like. I make more of these videos because some people told me, hey, I like these, and now my students are doing it, so I'm really excited about that. So have a wonderful day, everybody, and be sure and subscribe. Share this with anyone you think that would benefit. See you later.